Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy and I am a full-time reseller. Today is going to be another what sold, I guess, Wednesday video. I am still catching up from when I was gone. These sales I think were from, I left off July 11th maybe, and I think I'm going to end here like July 25th. So slowly but surely we are getting back on track. Since I've been back, I've only done what sold videos. I am trying to just kind of get back into the swing of things. Unfortunately, I haven't had any like great bins days to do some sort of thrift haul. I'll try and throw in a vlog or something here coming up in the near future. I've just kind of had like weird schedules right now. So this is what's working. As far as any type of news that I know of, I don't think I really have anything. I will say that eBay also kind of like really dropped for me. Probably, let's see, we're like towards the end of August, like all of August, eBay has been pretty bad. This last weekend, maybe it was like part of last week to this weekend, I did run a 50% off sale on just some older stuff, some summer stuff. There's like a whole bunch of people watching those items, and I just want to like send them a message and be like, hey, it's 50% off. It's not going to go anymore. If you want it, you have to get it, because I think it's going to end maybe tomorrow. I think I have it ending. But with doing that, I think it's kind of drawn some more people to my store, which now my sales have picked up. So that's kind of something I like to do every once in a while, like put some pretty big discounts on some items just to kind of get more traffic in there. You know, and if those items sell, that's great, because sales equal more sales. You know, that's what I've been told on eBay. So that's something I'm working on. At Depop, I don't know what to do over there. I did run a 50% off sale on some stuff. Once again, people just liked it and nobody bought anything that was on sale. I think it might be picking up a little bit over there, but it is definitely nowhere near what it has been, you know, in a couple months before. Okay, so the first one we are going to start off with, this is from, I think the brand is Pop. These are actually from JCPenney. I follow a couple people that do, I don't know, like extreme couponing. They're always looking for sales, so they're always posting when big sale events are. So they had posted these, I can't remember, because I've gone to a couple of them now where JCPenney's does like their pink tag sale where it's either $3 or $5. I think it starts at like so much percentage off, and then all the pink ones are $5, and then they're $3 at a certain point. So I can't remember. I think these were $3. They're a really fun style, very current. I knew if they didn't sell on my own, I could always send these to Plato's Closet. They're Mary Janes. Mary Janes are very popular right now. These do have a chunky heel. I've heard that kind of the chunkier shoe is falling a little bit in the trends. Once again, not everybody is, you know, looking to be super trendy. They're going to buy what they like. This is a pretty classic look, you know, it kind of gives 70s vibes too, but these were new. They were $7.50. They did go for $25. Okay, so next is going to be a bundle from Depop. This was a vintage skort. I think it was a skort. I picked this up at the bins. It laced up in the front. That's a great Y2K look. A size 18W. It was still new with tags. Did it have a brand on it? I mean, it was LA Blues, but I feel like the tag had, I don't have a picture of the tag, but I feel like it was from Rave, I think was the store. I can't remember. Let's see. I titled this one Vintage 90s Y2K LA Blues Tie Front Denim Jean Skort Plus Size 18W, new with tag. I did use size twice. Probably shouldn't have done that because I could have fit more words, but that's okay. And then the other item was a vintage fashion bug. This one was a sweater that was kind of giving like Nordic vibes to it. I did title this one Fashion Bug Green Tan Red Nordic Mock Neck Long Sleeve Fair Isle Cabin Sweater. Was this wool? No, it didn't have it did not have any other tags besides the Fashion Bug tag. So I'm assuming it was acrylic. Otherwise, if it was felt wool, I probably would have put that in the listing. Both of these together ended up going for $47.50. I've talked about the shipping before in the past on Depop. I do have a shipping discount where they pay the highest of the two, and then I just pay the overage. So they're getting a little bit of a discount if they do bundle with me. Next up is a dress from Land's End. This sold on Poshmark. It was 100% linen, 3X, so a really good size. I think I got this at a thrift store on 80% off day. It was V-necked, it buttoned in the front, it had a little tie belt. I titled it Land's End Linen Midi A-line Dress, Blue V-neck button front, tie coastal preppy 3X. And this one, it did go for $31. In my description, I put blue linen modest tie belt, midi plus size, wedding guest resort quiet luxury. Quiet luxury I like to use when I have good fabrics and there's not like a crazy print. It's normally just like one color. I like to throw that one in there. Now onto eBay. This was a really pretty dress. I picked this up at a Goodwill in my parents' town when I was there. The brand was, I don't even know, like I can't even read the tag, honestly. This one I titled Vintage Y2K 90s Red Regency Core Lace Princess Renaissance Dress Prom Size 14. This was really pretty. It had an iridescent like red tone to it, but then it also had like I'm sure there's a name for it, but the bust had lace on. It has the lace overlay, but it's open in the front. You'll see in the photo. I think this one might have had a little bit of damage. Yeah, there was a small hole in the back where I'm sure somebody accidentally stepped on it. You couldn't really tell because everything is pretty much the same color on this dress. I paid $7.99 for this full price at Goodwill, and it did go for $60. Next up is another Poshmark sale. Torrid is a brand that I feel like either does very well on certain pieces or it sits forever. So I'm kind of like in the middle on what I pick up for Torrid. I have had quite a bit of luck of sending it to ThredUp. I'm getting like maybe $5 a piece, which is fine because I'm normally getting it from the bins. Things that I will pick up to sell on my own will be these long duster cardigans like you're seeing here. Some maxi dresses, costumes do pretty well, swimwear. I've kind of given up on the bras. But this one sold almost immediately. I did pay, what did I pay for this? I think I waited until this went on $1.99 at Goodwill. I had seen it, kind of was scoping it out as the weeks went on. So I paid $1.99 for this and it ended up going for $28. With Torrid, I kind of do a mixture of the title that they provide on their website along with keywords depending on what it is. This one I called Torrid Longline Open Front Cardigan Duster Plus Size Romantic Moody Floral 2X. Some other ones I used in the description: plus size, moody, witchy, whimsy goth, rose floral print, and it was a size 2X and went for $28. Back to eBay. This one sold very quickly, I think within a week. I've really slowed down on bras just because I don't know if it's just I'm out of the loop on what is selling currently, but I feel like what I'm picking up is just not moving very well. The only thing I will say is Honey Love. Those will fly out of my store, no problem. This was a vintage Jaclyn Smith. It still had the tags on it. It was picked up at Savers, actually, and I think they didn't have it priced very high, like under $4. A size 36. This one ended up going for an offer of $22. I titled this one Vintage Jaclyn Smith 90s Romantic Floral Clasp Front Wire Bra size 36, new with tags. So that was a pretty good flip. Like I said, I think I only paid, it was under $4 and I would have had some sort of coupon, so at least 20% off that, and it did move quickly. Back to Depop. These are going to be very popular, I think, this fall. This was a thermal and it had, what was on here? Like little flowers, like a little ditzy floral print from the brand Arizona. It was still new with tags. This was picked up at the bins. It was a extra small. Anything like this that has like extended sleeves, if they have the thumb holes, if it's ribbed and, you know, like a thermal, I just think that this is going to be very popular. The prints, I don't know if they would be as popular, but this is very like Bella Swan, Elena Gilbert. If you don't know who those people are, Bella Swan is from the Twilight franchise. Elena Gilbert is from the Vampire Diaries. I would say this is more style from like 2008, 9-ish to like 2013. I think we're kind of moving towards that a little bit. So that would be something to look into those two and see what they were wearing during that time frame in the show and the movies, because it is very popular. It's definitely keywords people are putting in to look for. So this one I did title Y2K Black Purple Waffle Knit Floral Print Thumb Hole Thermal Size Extra Small New with Tags. And then I never use Elena Gilbert or Bella Swan. I've heard of people getting their listings taken down just because Bella Swan, I believe, is trademarked. I think Elena Gilbert might be. Wednesday Addams is trademarked. So technically you should not be using the full name. So I get away with it by just putting their first name. So Elena and Bella. That way, if someone is searching that, it will still pull. I did put that it had some stretch, and this did go for $20. This was from D&Co. This was something that I was trying before. I know I talked to you guys before I took my little hiatus that I was looking for brands that maybe weren't the greatest, but if I bundled items together, it would make them more enticing. Would I do it again with this brand? I made a decent profit on it, but it did sit for a while. This brand I think is like Kohl's and maybe like QVC or something. These were kind of more of like a kind of in your face print. So maybe that was part of the problem. They were all the same size. I did take a picture like I have here showing you. And then I did take individual pictures of each one, front and back, and then measurements. So I titled this Abstract Floral Button Front Casual Plus Size Tops Size 1. And then I made sure in the description to let them know that it was a lot. You get all three, because I think sometimes people get a little confused. I've seen some pretty confusing listings before where there'll be like 6 items in the photo and then they're like, let me know which one you want. And I'm like, that's not really how this works. But so I just make sure to make it as clear as possible that they know that they're getting all 3 of them. So this person got them for $40. They were all picked up at the bin. So my cost of goods was probably, I don't know, $3 at the most. But they did sit for a while and it didn't get too much attention. Still on Poshmark, these vintage plug-in pumpkins I will pick up all the time as long as they are in good condition. Sometimes they're really chipped. I always make sure that they work. And also I'm looking for more like quirky looking ones. Like this one kind of has a goofy face, just a traditional pumpkin with like just a smile. Those I probably will leave behind just because there really isn't, you know, some sort of draw to it. But if it's something that I don't see all the time, those I will pick up. This one sat, I don't know if this one I think was here last Halloween too, so it was a whole year, but it did go for $35. Next is another sale from Depop. This was a maxi skirt I got at Savers. It did not have any interior tags, but I knew someone would appreciate this print. It had different fish on it, like some angel fish, I don't know what like a tiger fish, I think maybe. I had to measure it out. It measured to be about an extra large. It was that kind of slinky material like Chico's Travelers. This one I titled Slinky Blue Fish Print Quirky Side Slit Maxi Midi Skirt Art to Wear. I think this one was like maybe only $4 or $5 at Savers. I had a coupon. I normally never buy anything at Savers unless I do have a coupon of some sort. And this one did go for an offer of $21. Here's an eBay sale. This one sold on my 20% off coupon. I normally have some sort of coupon running. I change it in between like 15 and 18%. This one was a really pretty dress. I think this came from, I might have got this one at Goodwill. I can't remember if I paid full price or half price, so anywhere from $4 to $8. I titled this one Vintage 90s Dark Muted Floral Grunge Goth Romantic Maxi Dress size 16. Anything with like this muted dark floral skirts or dresses or even blouses really do very well for me. It's something that people are looking for, especially now that we are getting closer to fall. I think that this print or color palette will probably pick up even more. So this one did end up going for an offer of $33.60. This one I actually found at the bins and I was like, oh, this is really pretty. It's embroidered, it's black. And then I was looking at it. I'm like, you know what? This looks like Johnny Was. But the issue was the tags were cut. So I looked at the top and I kind of saw like that little, I don't know what you want to call it. It's almost like the top of a flower shape with the red embroidery from where the tag was cut. And I was like, I bet this is Johnny Was. So I looked, I think this one still had the RN number. Yeah, it did have the RN number, so it did have that tag. So I knew that it was Johnny Was. I did do a Google search on it too, so I could make sure 100%, and it was. I titled this one Johnny Was Dark Gray Embroidered Shark Bite Hem Oversized Top. I measured it to be about a large, extra large. With this one, I was able to see other sellers that had this one, and then I used my measurements to base the sizing so that I had an idea, just because Johnny Was is normally pretty much oversized, so I wanted to make sure I had as close as I could. There was a little bit of damage to some of the embroidery. $32 I thought was very fair considering the tag was cut. There was a little bit of a wear to it, and I didn't have the exact size for sure, but $32 was a great bins flip. Back over to Depop. This was from the brand The Limited, definitely an older tag. This is another style and colorway I will pick up every single time in skirts and dresses. This one I had titled Vintage 90s Satin Feel Whimsy Goth Witchy Stevie Nicks Midi Maxi Skirt size 10. I also have in here, let's see, floral goth side buttons. I do make sure on skirts to let them know how it closes. If it's pull-on, does it have an elastic waist? Does it have a zipper? Does it have buttons? Just so they have an idea if there's going to be any stretch in the waistband. This one was picked up at Goodwill for $4.99, and it did go for an offer of $25. Back over to eBay, this was a pair of Justin boots. I picked these up at the place where I had my booth for that consignment place. When was that? Last fall? I do go in there periodically when they're having bigger sales. I do think that they have great stuff, and the prices are pretty decent for personal use. It's just kind of hard for me to find items there that are low enough that I can flip them for what I'm looking for on my return. These, I think, were like 70% off. I want to think I paid like $8 for them, which is not bad, because if these would have been at Goodwill, they probably would have been priced at $29.99. I can guarantee it. They had a velvet feel to them. There was a little bit of wear in some places, a size 7, and they did go for an offer of $32. Speaking of cowboy boots, I have noticed that my Goodwills have been putting out their Halloween stuff. That is like my favorite place to look now that it's out, just because I feel like they wait and kind of gather vintage dresses, vintage shoes, kind of quirkier looking pieces to put out during that time. And I've noticed, for whatever reason, the shoes that they put out, they're not like marking them super high, and they normally put out a lot of cowboy boots. So definitely keep an eye out. Cowboy boots, you really want to make sure condition is good on them, because, you know, some people do wear them for work and they can be completely trashed. You don't want to pick those up. But definitely look, because I have found some great vintage cowboy boots and some really good brand name ones for only like $8. So back over to eBay, this is from the brand Jones, New York. I don't like seek out this brand by any means, but their linen pieces have done well for me in the past. Pants I've sold. This was it a dress? Yeah, this was a shirt dress. I titled this one Jones, New York Butter Yellow Linen Button Front Coastal Leg and Look Shirt Dress Extra Large. So it was a good size. It had front pockets. It was that butter yellow that was very popular this spring and summer. And this one did go for $25. Back on over to Depop. This one, did this have a tag? Let's see. It was from the brand Forbidden, and it was rayon. This one had like an overlay to it, so it was almost like a spaghetti strap type dress, and then this other piece that went over it. It had a mixed floral print. It was shorter. Shorter dresses do sit for me. The maxi dresses, midi dresses definitely do better. This one, what did I title this? Vintage Y2K 90s Black Floral Grunge Mixed Print Fun Flirty Mini Dress Medium. I put ruffle details, and then I just listed all the colors in it. This one ended up going for an offer of $18.70. This is from the brand Veneza. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I found some really good pieces by this brand, and I don't know if it's a plus size brand, because I feel like they're always plus size sizes that I'm finding, but they always do well in Depop. This one had like a crushed velvet feel to it. It was all black. I think it was off the shoulder. Like you could wear it off the shoulder. Let's see. It was a size 3X, 4X. This one did not take very long to sell, and it did go for an offer of $23. Here's another great dress that was sold on Depop. This one I picked up at Savers. I have been going to Savers more. I always say that they're so overpriced, but now that I am like checking my emails, making sure I have coupons, they do send out when they're having sales and stuff. I just feel like they have pretty decent inventory, especially when it comes to like dresses and skirts. So I'm keeping an eye on them. I'm trying to stop in there a couple times a week. This one was from the brand Connected Apparel. I titled this one Vintage Y2K 90s Black Green Grunge Fairy Whimsy Goth Beaded Mini Dress Large. I did use the word homecoming for this one. I think this would be a really pretty homecoming dress. Going out, I put that it was lined, party. Let's see. Size large, like I said, I think this one did have just a little issue. Yeah, there was one spot where you could tell a couple beads were missing, but unless someone had pointed that out, you probably just wouldn't see it if you were, you know, walking past somebody or something. This type of dress, you've seen it before. It's just what girls are looking for, and they do move pretty quickly. This one I did get a decent amount for. It sold for $55.25. Okay, still on to Depop. I wanted to share this one. I don't know if this is going to continue into fall just because it is a mini skirt. This was from Aeropostale, but this one sold pretty quick. I titled this Vintage Y2K Denim Party Raw Frayed Hem Ultra Mini Hilton Spears Skirt Size 0. This one I did pick up at the bins. Pretty lightweight. Like I said, it was a size 0, so pretty tiny. I have noticed that the majority of these like super tiny mini skirts are selling in probably like size 6 and smaller. Ones that are a little bit bigger than that, they seem to sit. So I think it might be kind of more of the smaller sizes do better in this instance. But this one did go for $17. Okay, back over to Poshmark. This one I picked up at the bins. It was new with tags. No. So this one I did pick up the bins. This is Azos, which that is one of the brands that can get you for using stock photos. So be careful with that. But this was a bridal edition Sophia Plunge lace wedding dress with pleated skirt size 12. I did find a picture of it and I put it further down in the listing just because I put it on my mannequin and it was not working. So I had it on the hanger and then it had the stock photo so you could see how it fit a body. There were a couple issues with this one. Part of the lace on the back was damaged and there was a little bit of discoloration on like the bottom of the skirt. So you could get that dry cleaned, repaired if you wanted to. $30 is pretty cheap for a wedding dress. So I thought it was a good deal. Like I've told you guys in the past, wedding dresses, bridesmaids dresses, proms dresses, homecoming, all of that I do look for at the bins or in the thrift store when they go on clearance. They have to be in excellent condition. Obviously, this one had a couple small flaws, but since they were down at the bottom, I figured that would be okay. I prefer them to be new with tags. That way I know that they haven't been altered, but I think people are really going to be looking online for these type of items just because a lot of this does come from China. So with the tariffs, it's going to be outrageous to get dresses shipped here. So they might look for secondhand ones or, you know, look on eBay or something like that for new with tag items. This one took forever to sell. I think I showed this in my, what video was that? It was something to do with like 30-minute challenge at 3 different thrift stores. This was a J. Crew one-piece swimsuit. This one was probably just listed too high, honestly, because I feel like I always thought this was new with tags and it's not. $42 for J. Crew swimsuit. Probably should have been marked down more closer to $30, but I must have seen some sort of comps or something with this, and that's why I had it listed that high, but this one did take over a year to sell. I think this is the only Mercari sale I'm showing you guys. I don't get too many sales over there. When it does pick up, I notice that is normally when they are running some sort of like coupon code for things. That's normally when I see an uptick. Otherwise, it's just, there's not much happening on Mercari. This dress I picked up and I thought it was a women's until I got home and I was like, wait a minute. This seems kind of small for a large. And I started looking up to see like if I could find stock photos or anything for it. And I'm like, why are they all girls, like little girls? And then I realized, oh, okay, it's a kid's dress, which Originally I was like, I'm just going to bring it to Once Upon a Child. But as I was looking at the comps, I was like, okay, if I can get, you know, 20 bucks, I'd be fine with that. And I did end up getting $20. This was a maxi length. It was a Lily Pulitzer girl's dress in this blue and pink colorway. Back over to Depop. This is another colorway that I will always pick up. Well, I should say I'm going to think about it now just because we are going into fall and I don't know if this yellow will still be super in. But this was a pull-on skirt. I don't believe it had a brand. No, it just had the size and the care tag in it. I called this one Vintage Y2K Yellow Floral Maxi Dainty Cottage Maxi Pull-on Skirt, size 12. I did use keywords like pastel, cute, summer, girly. It was a size 12. And this one did go for my full asking price of $30. This was from the brand Arizona. I think this one had, yeah, this one had thumb holes. It had like this kind of abstract heart type print in it. This one was also an extra small. And this one did go for an offer of $17. Back over to Poshmark, Alberto Macali. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I've sold a couple things by this designer, maybe, I think they are. And I've also sent some of it to ThredUp, which has done well there. This one I saw and I was like, somebody on Depop's gonna get it. But actually they got it on Poshmark. This sold the same day I listed it. I didn't even have time to cross-post it, actually. This one was titled Alberto Macali Bright Abstract Art to Wear Grunge Mixed Print Tulle Top Size Medium. This had a lot going for it. It was like striped. It had these circle prints on it. It had floral. It had this like ruffle tulle thing on the front. It had a lettuce hem. So very maximalist. I think I might have put that one in there. I didn't. I probably should have. Funky. I used that keyword. Like I said, it sold very quickly for $35. Another Depop sale. This one was from the brand Studio Y. I think we talked about that last week. I just wanted to show this one based on the style. This one, again, I think is going to be kind of slowing down now because we're getting out of summer, but it's still warm in a lot of places. People are still going to be going to parties and bars and whatnot. So this one I titled Vintage Y2K Studio Y Pink Black Necklace Halter Trashy Party Tunic Top Extra Large. This one was kind of borderline, like, should you wear something underneath it? It would definitely depend on how long your torso was and just how it fit you. That's why I threw in the tunic thing in there. I did also use keywords like Kesha concert party going out. It was an extra large, so a good size. It had this like chain and bead type detail for the halter neck part. So this one, again, I think we're kind of in like that late 2009-ish would be my guess is kind of when this was popular. So, you know, I think things are kind of moving more towards that when it comes to the Y2K trends. Okay, so now we are going to flip over to ThredUp. Last week I forgot all about it to put it at the end of the video. So this week we are kind of talking, let's see. Some of these are, I mean, it's going to be anywhere from like May until now because it depends on how long they were up on the website, how long it took to sell, and then whatever the time frame is for the return window. So I will go over a couple of these. I don't think I showed you guys these yet. Okay, so a pair of Lauren by Ralph Lauren wool pants. That's something I'm just not very excited to list on my own. But if I can pick them up at the bins for like $2, throw them in a box, make $7.92, I am all for that. This was a Cynthia Rowley top. I don't know why they priced it so high. It was new with tags. It was a linen blend. I think it had lemon print on it. For some reason, they had this listed at $64.74 and somebody bought it. So I ended up getting $20 for that. That was picked up at Goodwill on $1.99 day. I had that listed forever, like as low as $15, and no one was interested in it, but somebody on ThredUp paid, what did I say? $64. It was just like a tank top. So it's stuff like that that really kind of shocks me when it comes to what the payouts can be. This was a pair of Anthropologie casual pants. I picked these up at Goodwill for $7.99. I've had them listed for probably 2.5 years. I was like, oh, someone's going to love these. They were kind of like a barrel leg type style. Zero interest. I put them up here. Someone bought them almost immediately, and I got $12.77. An Ann Taylor dress. This was picked up at the bins. I'm pretty much done with that brand unless it's something... It has to have a couple wow factors to it. $2.11, so I probably just got my money back on that. A J. McLaughlin dress I've had listed for over a year. Once again, no one wanted it. I ended up getting $13.84. This was a cabbie silk top. I had it listed for a long time, no interest. I got $5.02. So that's all I have for ThredUp right now to show you. I do have some boxes that are either like en route to them or they're working on listing. So hopefully in the next couple weeks I will have some more to show you as long as people keep buying on ThredUp. So over the weekend I watched Sinners. I am like obsessed with that movie. At first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I'm not too much of a vampire type person when it comes to movies. And they marketed it kind of like a horror movie. I'd heard it was more like a thriller. It wasn't that scary, but I was like, you know what? Let's just watch it. I am obsessed. Like, I could probably watch it again today. So let me know in the comments below, A, if anybody watched it and what you thought, and B, if you had seen any good movies recently. I do really want to see Weapons. That's in the theater right now. I'm just trying to find a time when me and my boyfriend can go on a Tuesday, because in our area on Tuesdays movies are only $5, which is a steal of a deal, because I feel like you can't go to the movies with two people for like under $50 if you want to get any type of popcorn or anything like that. So I'm hoping we can do that before somebody ruins it for me or I see something, because I'm pretty sure that one has a pretty big twist to it. There wasn't a whole lot of information given in the trailers for that movie, so I'm hoping it happens sooner rather than later. So let me know in the comments below if you saw Sinners and what you thought, and any good movies that you've seen recently. Which also, I did see the new, what did we watch? I did watch the new Final Destination Bloodlines. I thought it was great. Like, I think all the Final Destination movies, they're more of like a comedy at this point, and this one just really gave me a lot of nostalgia for the first couple of them. I thought it was great. I thought the acting was pretty decent for what it was. That was another really good one if you're into any type of horror movies. A lot of times I go like this because I don't want to see what's happening to people when they have like catastrophic deaths in those movies, but it's another good one if you are into that. And as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. It really helps out the channel and I really appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!